Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Mike and Shay's Smoke Room. As always, I am your boy and your host, Mike.
I'm the co-host Juju, and let's remember that these shows are for entertainment purposes only. And let's give a shout out to all our subscribers. Thank you.
All right.
Today we're going to be take a trip down memory lane and talk about the differences between Gen X kids and the kids these days.
Hey, that's right, Juju. As a Gen Xer myself, I can't help but notice how much the world has changed since mine and your childhood.
Right? And as a fellow Gen Xer, I can definitely attest to the fact that things are very different now. So let's dive in and explore these differences.
All right, guys, your first segment right here.
Sport was a huge part of the 1980s and 1990s. People of all ages went in there, but sadly most of those are gone. But for those of us who got to experience the days of VHS, we will never forget the slogans that were on the VHS cassettes.
Be kind, please rewind.
Please be kind and rewind. Or please remember to rewind. If we forgot to do that in some places, they would charge us a fee. Vending machines are still with us today, but what I don't see are the little ones that were in rows at the front of grocery stores.
With the little
These
toys.
had
See them every once in a while at
but they
places.
also had
You
jewelry,
still do a little
stickers,
bit.
and toys inside them. If you were a kid when these were
Golden
around, then you
Corral.
would always be on the lookout to see what you could get for a penny, nickel, dime, or a quarter.
Oh, it ain't that now. It's like 50 cents.
People
Says
today
$1.
worry about germs, but those in Gen X and before really did not. We used public telephones that were never clean. The mouthpieces smelled like someone else's breath or even cigarettes, but we still used them. But what you did
Remember
do
you could
was
call
inspect the
collect,
earpiece before
and
you
you had
placed
like
it up to your
30
ear.
seconds to be like,
People
hey, it's
thought
Mike,
that
pick me
making
up.
others
And
were
hang it up. That way they
placing
didn't
chewing
accept it.
gum or something else that was gross on it. No matter what generation you're from, I'm sure that you
Oh,
love
really?
listening to music.
Did it a lot.
Back in the days of physically collecting media, it could get quite expensive. That's what made the music clubs like BMG and Columbia House so appealing.
Hey, most people
Where
still
else
owe
could you
those
get
places
8 to 12
money.
albums for just a penny? The bad thing about those is that you had to buy 5 more albums at the full price plus shipping.
They do that.
Not only
Yeah,
that, but they
nobody knew that. We
album
just
a
boom,
month
boom,
that
boom.
you may not even want, and then you had to return it.
Actually, you were sending
Overall,
right in and
it wasn't
shit.
really worth the hassle. Since we are on the topic of music, let's talk about the lyrics for a moment. We did not have the internet to look up what a song was saying, so half the time we were singing the wrong words and were singing only the chorus.
Misheard lyrics, guys.
The only way around that was buying an album and looking at the liner for the printed lyrics.
Yeah.
Then we felt like an idiot for singing the song wrong. However, there are still some songs that I prefer the lyrics that I made up versus what they had.
Right.
When CDs
Woo, I
and CD
remember
players
that.
became affordable, we were all blown away by
Still
the
too
clarity.
good. Lord,
That's
This
crazy.
made it a move to make us buy the same album twice, but many of us did not. However, some of those
Walmart
CDs
had that.
contained remixes of the ones that we loved, and that was usually where they got us.
edited
They
version.
would also
Uh-huh,
mysteriously
everything at a
release
certain
new
point
songs
had
from
to
a
be
dead artist on CD.
explicit cut out.
That one I never
Or sold
could quite
somewhere
figure
else.
out.
We don't know. Anything can happen out there. Sometimes we feel lost.
With all of these new CDs starting to accumulate in our collection, we needed a cool place to store them. And because CDs seemed futuristic, we opted for the CD towers that came in funky shapes and designs. We wanted a statement piece for anyone visiting our house to check out our music.
Mine was always just stacked up somewhere.
Before the internet came around, magazines were really popular. Magazine sections took up huge spaces in stores, and we could thumb through them before we purchased them. There was everything from cars, horses, music, gossip, and more. If you look at a magazine section today, it is small and the choices are somewhat limited. That's if you can even find one, and if you do, there are almost no people looking at them. There are almost no people looking at them.
My bad, Joe.
Today, parents Parents and kids carry cell phones for easy access to communication. It doesn't take anything at all to text or call each other. Not only that, but there are various tracking apps to let everyone know where you are at. But as a Gen Xer, you probably saw your parents leave the name and number of a friend's house they were at, or even the name of the restaurant they were going to.
Right.
But you did not dare call.
Alright guys, yeah, you knew better than call and interrupt that shit. As I just said, one of the biggest differences between Gen X kids and kids these days, technology, guys. We grew up with cassette tapes and landline phones and lawn darts. But yeah, big differences there.
But now kids have smartphones, tablets, and social media. They have access to the entire world at their fingertips.
They definitely do. Here's a quick little commercial, guys.
Emma.
Look, kids are born with tablets and phones.
Children being entertained and placated by technology. But this is also familiar. Monumental meltdowns when the devices are taken away. They're reactions that are in fact symptoms of one of the major medical challenges of our time. What's being called internet addiction disorder. It's a pioneer in the field of technology and internet addiction.
I think parents are trying to catch up. We all think we've done the right thing by handing over all this technology, but now we're realizing there's a problem.
Yes, and that's really where the key is that we aren't getting any messages that there's a potential downside.
The seaside, and I love the snow.
How have we got to this stage that there is an addiction to the internet?
What really happened, I think, to jettison this issue of technology/internet addiction is mobile. And in 2010, the first iPad was introduced, and now everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has some kind of tablet device. And
while technology has made our lives a lot easier, guys, it has also changed the way we communicate and socialize.
Exactly, Mike. Kids these days are so used to texting and messaging that face-to-face conversations have became a rarity.
It really has. Human interaction is at such a low point right now.
Very low point.
In the 1980s, summer break was always something that every kid looked forward to. It was a time when a kid could be a kid and there was no thought at all of school. You had plenty of time to spend with friends. Maybe you had a sleepover, pool party, or just rode bikes together.
Maybe.
This was also the time most families went on vacation. But sooner or later, the summer would come to an end and it was time to go back to school. The school always had a distinctive smell, and it's one that you hadn't caught a whiff of since school let out last May. But the first day was always different. You could smell the new jeans and new clothes. Everyone had them, and the scent would permeate the air. It was also a time when you were looking around to see what everyone else was wearing. Coca-Cola was not only something you drank, but it was also a fashion. Guys were simple: jeans, a shirt, and a pair of sneakers. Girls, not so much. There were leggings, Keds, jelly bracelets, jelly shoes, charm bracelets, plastic hair clips, and plastic shirt clips. It was hard to keep up with all the different things that girls had, so I'm sure I've skipped a few things. Oh yeah, kissing potion lip gloss. That was a big thing, and every girl seemed like they had that.
Whoa, the new iPhone.
Excuse us, quick break, guys. Right back at it now.
This first day of school was
The Breakfast Club.
Yep.
Alright, another difference is the type of entertainment that we had since Breakfast Club came on. That made me think of that. Gen Xers had Saturday morning cartoons. We played outside. We knew all the neighborhood kids. We left in the morning, came back at supper time. Parents had no clue where we were half the time.
But now kids have an endless array of streaming services with on-demand shows and movies.
Right.
They can also connect with friends online through multiplayer games.
Man, like so easy now. And while it's great to have so much entertainment at our fingertips, it is very important for kids to also go outside and experience simple joys of childhood the way that our generation did.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Mike. Being active and having face-to-face interactions are crucial for a child's development. That they are.
Filled with other things that were new. You probably also had a new backpack and perhaps a new lunch pail. You know, the metal indestructible kind with the plastic thermos. Whether you ate at school or not, you still wanted one. These lunch pails come in all sorts of designs. Kiss, Peanuts, Star Wars, Strawberry Shortcake, Superman, Mickey Mouse, and so many more. What you had said a lot about you. Another item that was like that was the Trapper Keeper. Maybe you had one with a horse on it, or maybe you had one with a Lamborghini on the outside.
I don't see mine in none of those.
Inside this Trapper Keeper were other things, like a ream of paper and more Trapper Keeper
I had a real
folders.
cosmic looking
There
one.
were pockets
I remember
everywhere.
that
and
one.
You were going to need them this first day because the teacher was going to give you all sorts of things to take home to your parents.
Funny, I
So
only
here
remember
you
one
are
of my
making your
Trapper
way
Keepers.
into the
Sign
new
this.
classroom
Must be the coolest
and meeting
one I
your new
did.
teacher. After her introduction, she would make each person in the class do the same. You'd stand up, say your name, and then talk about something interesting that you did over the summer. It always seemed like there was a kid who was able to visit some faraway place that sounded exciting.
Right?
Unfortunately, that was never me. After the introductions were over, it was time to empty your backpacks, which were filled to the brim.
Guys, one thing, y'all remember, if you're a Gen Xer, having those backpacks with all your books. My dad made me carry all books home. I had a backpack that you could barely zip that damn thing. Kids these days, they got to keep up with a laptop, maybe a tablet, and a notebook or something.
And let's not forget about the internet. Kids now have access to a wealth of information that we could only dream of back in the day.
Right. A quick little game demo. Gotta pay the bills somehow, guys.
In 2017, Washington Park Schools started providing 7th and 8th grade students laptop computers. The new tech tool is fully integrated into students' daily academic studies. Most students seem to find the hardware beneficial.
It does help with your assignments, and instead of getting things done at home, you can also have a head start in school, and you can just get things sped up. You can have maybe group assignments that can stay, and it can help you when you get home.
I like the concept. It's just that we slowly lose our skill of writing down stuff. So the more we use computers, the more we won't be able to write.
I like the concept of laptop in school.
I like the way dude thinks.
Helps me with grammar and during word. So
That's a young cat doing interviews too.
I think it allows you, because you can use Word and Office more, and it's a lot easier than writing and doing everything on paper.
The Toledo School District initially purchased 550 Dell Latitude Model 3380s. Students use the cloud-based Microsoft Office 365 to write essays, take tests, work on projects, do research, and more. Students also use Study Island, an application that helps you to...
Because instead of just like doing your assignment home and stuff, you can kind of get a head start in school, and you can also have some notes down from what your teacher says, and it's just helpful with your assignments.
Computers, when we're typing down stuff, we can always open up a new tab, look up something there, and then we can swap between the tabs. So it makes our experience a little more easier in order to research stuff.
It saved me a lot of time using autocorrect.
I think that
Right.
having Office online with the Word and PowerPoint, it makes it much easier than having to handwrite everything on paper and just have a ton of paper than a folder.
The computers perform very well in class, but some
As
students...
somebody
say there
back
could be
in school, I
improvements.
get
I
it.
wish the durability could change because they get like too many scratches, and like if they fall, the back piece just keeps getting broken down. You can easily fix it, but I mean, just the durability can get a bit better.
The internet here is slow, So if we have a bit of a better
The
internet,
worries of the kids nowadays.
it'll make our experience a lot better.
Try
So,
Oregon
really,
Trail,
is this,
buddy.
like, really
Try dial
fragile, so, like,
However, this also means that kids have to be more careful about the information they consume and be aware of online safety.
Safety first. That's right, Mike. It's important for parents to monitor their kids' internet usage and have open conversations about online safety.
Definitely. We're going to show one more clip to show why Gen X kids are built different than kids today. Just saying, guys.
Just saying.
Watch.
Kids today have it easy with their play dates and after-school programs. They don't have a clue the struggle of being a latchkey kid, or the fun that came from not
Latchkey
having
kid.
an adult breathing down your neck 24/7. Sure, we got a lot of sunburns and broken bones, but it was a rite of passage. Being an 80s kid was pretty rad. There are even some studies that have come out showing that with all of the supervision and bubble wrap we have added into our kids' lives, we've not changed the amount of danger that they can get into in a lot of areas. For example, kids get injured at the same rate today as they did back before playgrounds were all rubber mats and plastic surfaces. Hey there, I'm Scott Huffman from Wyandotte, and here is 17 reasons kids from the 80s are tougher than kids today.
Let's go,
Before
y'all.
we begin, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for daily amazing videos. Number 1, lawn darts were a great idea. Give sharp, pointy things
My
to
cousin
kids.
Rollo got me in the leg with one of
Number
those.
2, kids were actually encouraged to play with fireworks. Number 3, casts were a badge of honor for kids, and parents didn't feel shame or neglectful when their kids broke bone.
Right?
Number 4, slides were taller, and playgrounds were more dangerous and more fun.
Hey, I remember at Tillis Park, there used to be this metal slide, I swear it was 2 stories high up that bitch. And I'm sure it wasn't, but still, it was way taller than any you see nowadays. And it was like metal and hot as hell, and it went, that motherfucker would throw you. Alright, back to it, guys.
Number 5, piling up in the back of a truck and feeling the breeze in your hair was not only legal, but a pretty good time.
Right?
Number 6, being a kid and having a ride up in the front seat without a seatbelt was always a good time.
I let all my
Especially
kids
for
do
the
that in parking lots, so.
Number 7, kids were allowed to play and explore without
Free
a
range
license.
children.
Number 8, SPF 1 million wasn't a thing, and sunburns and peeling skin was the norm.
Right?
Number 9, helmets, knee pads, and wrist guards and all that jazz were also not a thing. Number 10, secondhand smoke was just something you did. Number 11, heating up your SpaghettiOs on the stove by your lonesome happened all the time.
All the time we could.
Number 12, the back seat was a playground where you could sit any which way.
I was just talking about this with my wife the other day. The beautiful Shay. So, Grandma and Grandpa used to have several trucks that had campers on the back. And one of them didn't even have a window in between. And we'd just be back there fucking partying unsupervised, getting thrown around that motherfucker. Grandpa always had a case of beer next to him. Always drove. We do not condone that on this channel. That was just what it was back then,
Number 13, there was a very likely chance that your mom smoked while she was pregnant with you.
No
Number
doubt.
14, being a latchkey kid was the norm. Letting yourself in the house after school, getting your own food, and trying not to burn the house down was a daily thing. Number 15, young kids would watch their even younger siblings.
All the time.
Number 16, playdates weren't called playdates,
Fonzie,
and kids didn't have adults
hey!
breathing down their necks the entire time.
One more, guys.
Number 17, sneaking cigs was not disgusting.
Them girls look
It
like
was a sign of
partiers.
coolness. Some people might argue that today there are a lot less injuries and death due to helmets and seatbelts, and they might be right.
Go, kids.
All I know for sure is
Hey, shout out to the Why and How channel.
but it made us
Big support to
So
them.
much
Check them out. Awesome
different than
videos.
kids in the 80s. But were they actually better? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Alright, well that's all the time we have for today, guys. We hope you enjoyed our show and maybe even learned something new about the differences between Gen X kids and kids these days.
Let us know in the comments which generation you belong to and how your childhood was different from kids these days.
Hey, don't forget to hit that like button, guys, subscribe button, and for more interesting topics and daily content of all kinds, make sure you hit that notification bell, guys. See you next time.
Thank you.
As always, guys, I'm your boy Mike, and peace.